This call is being
changing the
recorded.
world that you are participating in, right? You have an opportunity to be doing some nation building because I was been thinking for years, how can we nation build, right? How can we nation build without really taxing folks? Because the truth of the matter is that until black folks really start taxing ourselves, we are never, ever going to be free. See, because every nation that is, well, really, you can't even have a nation without taxing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about taxing. I'm saying, hey, let us handle, trial service with the electric. We got gas coming in Central Ohio. You can hit us up at Ambit Energy, right? The number is 594-9422, 614-594-9422. You can also find us on our Facebook page, Gye-Nyame Journey Energy. You go www.facebook.com/G as in globe, N as in no, J as in justice, energy, G&J energy / right? And you could follow us, you could like the page, and also you could go to the sign up and see how much we could save you on your energy bill, right? Let's go on and let's build, right? Also, you can hit us up at Gye-Nyame-Journey.energy526.com. All right, for those that want to join the conversation, remember to hit me up at 614-556-4535. Once again, that's 614-556-4535. Remember, you're only receiving half of the conversation if you're listening to me on Spreaker. I need you to call in at 614-556-4535 so that you can share your wisdom. Even if you don't want to speak, you can come on and you can mute or you can mute your own mic, or I can mute your mic so that you can get the fullness of the conversation, because I'm trying to tell y'all, if Sister Janice happened to show up, or Brother D happened to show up, or Mr. Leroy Thunder Thornton happens to show up, or Brother Yancey happens to show up, if some of my fam happen to pop in, you will have a life-changing experience because they bring the wisdom and knowledge and experience to the table. And then on top of that, when we conversate, we allow an energy to flow through everybody involved in the circle, and we never know what's going to emerge. That's the beauty of what we have going on right here, right? Now, check this out. So, now what I'm doing is, because I'm preparing to jump off another show where I'm going to be covering the news. I don't know whether that one's going to be live or whatever. I ain't going to just be covering the news. Like I said, I'm trying to build a media team where people could grab news that is interesting to them and really get into it. So I'm going to run through some news real quick because, this whole internet piece, man, it's just making everything easier. But first, before I want to do that, I want to say, what's up, Sister Janice? What's going on?
So let me start off your little news piece by saying, please, people, don't be fooled. Please educate yourself enough to know the difference between what is true, what is real, and what is some straight up boop, boop. Please understand the difference. I'm calling you here from outside of Detroit. There is a great deal of conversation about the Flint water crisis, and I just want everybody to pay attention to the fact that as of today, the mayor of Flint, who is at odds with the governor of Michigan in terms of what to do to solve the problem in Flint. And I just want to be real and say that the problem in Flint is real easy to fix if you deal from the platform of truth. You have lead pipes that need to come out. You have dirty water that needs to be treated. You have people whose health and welfare and intellectual development is being impacted by the quality of water. There are only so many things that can be done, but all of them are about caring about people, humanitarian rights, the right to clean water. There should be no subterfuge. But in a nation full of people who are not real journalists, in a nation full of people who don't even understand what they have the right to demand, we have people in this nation who are demanding more of gun rights than they are of these people whose right they have to clean water in Flint. And so, good evening, folk, and welcome to the journey.
That's right. That's right. See, like I told you, those of you that's on one side, you hearing Brother Hatim in some silence because she
That's right.
went off. The spirit is in the house. So
That's
you have
all.
to join us at 614-556-4535. I know some of y'all like, Brother Hatim, why you got two separate things going on? Well, first off, I haven't been able to integrate them yet. I'm just going to be honest. The second piece is, though, I want to have a space where those people that really have something to share we can have our own space. Because eventually I would love to just be able to have this conference call piece popping off because it can hold up to 100 people. That's how dope the technology is. Dirt cheap. I can have conversations with hundreds of people on this application, right? And
in all kinds of different parts of the world.
In all parts. As a matter of fact, for a simple upgrade of a few dollars, you could call in. I can have people be able to call in from all over the world. I can have a 1-800 number and an international number where we can have people calling in from all over the world so that we can get the real news. We need, you know what I'm saying, because that's where I'm headed now. One, we got the conversation going. I got people tuning in on a regular basis now where we've been covering these proverbs, where we've been covering these quotes, and most importantly, what we've been doing the folk tales. I got people that want Freestyle Friday. I got people that's coming that want to hear your voices. I got people that's coming that want to hear Brother D's voice. Now, what I want to do is to start providing them with the grassroots news, or at least a grassroots view of the news. You know what I'm saying? So if we can't bring the news, at least we can drop some the topic of the day, or what's going on in that day, or what's going on in that week, and have a meaningful discussion about that information so that we can help people pull the blinders off. Not tell you what to see, but at least light the flame so that you will be able to see it clearly, right? Because the idea is not to tell you what to think. The idea is to get you to think. That's where we are. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. That's where I've always been. And for some reason, and Sister Janice, I've been having problems, man. You know, I got a lot of people mad at me because I don't think for them. You know that?
Because you don't what?
Because I don't think for them.
Well, that's
you know, a lot of you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here who say they want freedom, but they don't have any idea what true freedom is.
Because freedom is coupled with personal responsibility. You can't have one without the other. And so just like when you were a very young man, when I met you and you were trying to tell people and you would share with me your frustration, and I would say to you, bruh, you are a whole lot years older spiritually than you are chronologically. Your entire life is going to be a testament to that fact. Just keep on keeping on. Just stay encouraged. The elders dropped us off in a century in a place where we have probably existed before. And so we're doing this again. And Tony Browder teaches us that, to those who are enlightened, your life will always feel like redundancy because we know what we know. Most people don't even know what they know. And they allow themselves to be taught by people they taught before them. So we just have to stay, and no matter what we're talking about, we can start today with a universal message of, if you are a living creature on earth, scientists have said you need water, clean water, to survive. There is more water on the planet Earth than there is anything else. And so any kind of discussion burdened by bureaucracy having to do with clean water is a man-made challenge because it's science says there's more water than there is us. And so everyone should have clean water. Clean water is an ingredient necessary for a person to be able to have the human capacity to develop intellectually, socially, physically. We shouldn't be having an argument about this. And it says a lot about humanity that we are.
Whole lot about it, don't it? I mean, really. I mean, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Because bringing it like that, I don't think a lot of people heard that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? It's like, Kanye West is having a meltdown. You know what I'm saying?
So?
You know what I'm saying?
So
you
what?
Know, I mean that's
Kim will take care of him, right?
Well, hey, I hope so.
Yeah, well.
You know what I'm saying? I hope so. You know what I'm saying? But the PC is, we got so many smoke screens, as I call it, that fuckery, buffoonery, and that white magic, man. There's so much of that out there that it takes the focus off of what really matters. And we got a whole town. See, but what's crazy is, because one of the things that Obama been talking about possibly for the last 6 years, because my cousin is in trucking, and I've been hearing words about rebuilding the infrastructure, and they're trying to find money to rebuild the infrastructure. And a lot of people don't understand that they're not just talking about the roads and the bridges, they're also talking about the pipes. So we think Flint, Michigan is it, when a lot of us right now are still drinking water from lead pipes. I
want my people in particular to Google people like Aaron Brockovich. Google people that she tells you to Google. I want you to Google the closest urban center to where you geographically reside, and then ask questions on Google about water quality in the closest urban center to you. This in Flint is not an anomaly. It is the norm, because no one cares about people who don't seem to advocate for themselves.
Right.
And so this is happening everywhere. We are all going to have to come together as a human family. If we believe in how important it is for children and old people to have clean water, we're going to have to come together like people. Listen, we come together like people to help the polar bears. We come together like people to help certain insects. We come together like people to argue that we shouldn't have strip clubs in certain places. We need to come together like people to demand that as people who require water to live, we all should be fighting for the rights of clean water for people wherever. Because once they attack one community, they have license to come to yours.
That's right. That's right. Now check this out. I'm perusing through the news, and speaking of, well, first off, let me say this. One thing I was going to say, I'm understanding that some large older cities, they still have pipes that are made out of wood.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, people don't, like you said, Flint is not an anomaly. Flint is the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And until we really realize that America is rotting from the inside out.
Right.
Not just morally, not just spiritually, not just mentally, but also physically. As you know what I'm saying, until we start dealing with our issues, because we want to spread democracy all over the world rather than practicing it right where we live. You see what I'm saying? Rather than practicing it where we live. You know what I'm saying? Rather than assisting those right here in this country and setting the example so other people can see that, you know, that brotherhood within mankind is possible, within womankind is possible, and being, as they like to claim, the shining city on the hill, right? You know, it seems that we done built the hill on we done built the city on a hill that is collapsing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, because we haven't taken care of the hill. But also in the news, I want people to pay attention to this story. Apple is fighting the FBI right now. Did you hear about that?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all need to pay attention to this, because what's going on, I mean, just from a quick perusing, is something about the San Bernardino, where the terrorists were there last year.
So there are two things going on at once, and it's really, really deep. And let me just say this. As a teacher, I think that the vast majority of people in the nation who are paying attention don't even have the capacity to comprehend what the real conversation is. Let me say this. It is a dual conversation. The first issue is the government is saying we don't have the technological or intellectual capacity to access what we see as a back door to your phone when it's encrypted. That's number one. The second part they're saying is once we enter into the back door with your assistance, because we can't do it, we need to be able to read all of the information that these terrorists encrypted because we need to be able to impact anything that they may have planned that we don't know anything about. That's the allegation. Now, let me say this. Let me say this. As it relates to the technology, in a nation that purports to be the most brilliant, the most problem-solving, the most powerful nation in the world, they are saying, as the FBI, we don't have the technological or intellectual capacity to get into this technology, this Apple phone, without the assistance of the company that created the technology. And Apple is responding, if we give you backdoor entry into this phone, and we're not saying we have the capacity, but if we give you backdoor entry into our tech, where does it stop? And they're saying to their customers, support us in our response to the government. This is a slippery slope. If we let you in this motherfucker, we fucking with the privacy of all of our customers. Now let me say this, as a person who works in an urban center, because I mean this. I have been in middle schools with black kids that the teachers, the administrators, the community identify as troublemakers, as kids that need special attention because they deviant. Those are the kids who manipulate. Those are the kids that go into the goddamn tech. Excuse my language. Those are the kids that go into the tech and say, I'm changing my grades in all my classes. Y'all want me to change your grades? Give me some money. They know how to manipulate the tech. And so when I heard the press conference, I said, from the FBI director, I said, so you telling me you don't know 8th grade kids like I do who can backdoor that phone and give you all the encrypted information? I know kids who know how to do that. What are we really saying in a broader sense? And that's A. The B for Miss Rowley, the teacher, is anybody under the impression that there's not some clandestine deal being hatched right now between Apple and the FBI to straight up access the information that we know came from people who identified themselves as terrorists? I mean, I'm not under the impression that information is not being shared. I just believe that. I believe that information is being shared. I believe it's been shared.
But they had to put up a fight. You understand what I'm saying?
This fight is really about the public. This fight is about what we want to tell the people who ain't really deep thinkers anyway. We can tell them any damn thing.
Google is backing Apple in the fight because my whole issue is the whole privacy piece. You know what I'm saying? Because we already existed in what appears to be a police state. I'm not going to say it's a police state so people could come behind me, but what appears to be a police state where we already know that the NSA was holding a lot of information on people without permission. You know what I'm saying? We know that people don't have privacy, but then now they could go to court and demand your court record. You know what I'm saying? Demand your records. And I don't think as a public we should allow that because, like you said, where does it stop? It's a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? Where does this type of thing stop? So Apple, as far as what they're saying to the public sounds good, but like I said, I'm concerned about the what's going on in the background. You know what I'm saying? What's going on in the background? Because that we won't have privy to it for about 2 years. You know what I'm saying? We'll hear about all this stuff up front. We'll hear about, the CEOs and the CFOs all backing each other and going before Congress and talking. But we know that behind doors there's deals being cut. Now, but we have to be concerned about the fact that, that there's a possibility because they do these, because they'll start off with the most extreme stuff. Like, these were terrorists. We need to get into their records. You know what I'm saying?
But see, I want to reiterate. I'm serious. I want to reiterate, and I don't want us to blow past. These are people who contend to be trying to ascertain the potentiality for sending people from Earth to Mars to live. These are people who argue and use quantitative data to argue that we are beyond brilliant here in the United States. There's not a problem that the universe can create that we can't solve, and we are really and literally talking about the FBI that intervenes, that intersects, that interjects itself into all kinds of nations, time periods, situations having to do with languages, cultural understandings, religious philosophies. They're saying we can't figure out how to get in this phone. And it's almost sci-fi fiction to me that we're having this, because what I keep asking is, what is really not being talked about here? Because let me say this. When the founding fathers founded how people would be elected, when they created the concept of the Electoral College, what they said was, we don't trust the general political judgment of the broad population. And so we need to create this entity that ensures, and this is what they believed at the time, we got to contextualize that. This is what they believed at the time, that ensures that the best candidates will be those that the people decide upon. And so what we really see today, and that's what my people and so many other people don't understand, what we see today is truly the bastardization of what the founding fathers knew, understood, and tried to create and protect. All this money in politics, all of these special interests, all of this has really, it's not about, when the Panthers used to yell power to the people, that has no application anymore.
Are you looking at my computer?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh, because first you led me into this conversation, then you led me right to the next conversation.
Okay, well, that's
you know
good.
what I'm saying? Because I got a little piece on here that first off, there's a new documentary on the Black Panther Party that's airing on PBS maybe this week. Because
it came on last night.
Okay, it's the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party, and so one of the articles on CNN.com is what the Black Panther Party taught Donald Trump. Now, for all those that want to join the conversation, because listen, my big sis is dropping it tonight. If you want to get it. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the call. And I have to upload this one. You know why? Because Brother Hatim is silent. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm stunned. I knew she had it in her, right? It ain't that I'm shocked that but I'm like, boom, the insight in the conversation. And it's like, yo, Janice, we got to do this news thing, baby, because I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying?
Please upload this to my page, from the desk of the teacher. Okay, thanks. Good.
All right, from the desk of the teacher. All right, I'm gonna have to.
I sent you. I think you're already. Well, we'll see. You'll see it on. Just go to Facebook.
It's on Facebook. Cool.
Yep, it is. So.
All right, cool.
Put it on there for me, please.
Cool. But it's like what the Black Panthers taught Donald Trump. You know, now That's kind of, you know what I'm saying, because like, you know, because I was called old. I don't know if I shared this with you. I had a conversation this weekend because, you know, I started hearing all of this discussion about Beyonce and her performance at the Super Bowl with the song Formation. I saw the video before I saw her performance. I saw the performance of the Super Bowl. I eventually went to bed because I don't make it through those games anyway. I never have. But I mean, I wanted to see the halftime show. And I was kind of confused and perplexed because, you know, I'm hearing all the conversation from the white media as well as from the black media where they're talking about how this song and that performance was a shot, in a sense, against the white power structure, was a rallying cry for black power or black consciousness, whichever choice you want to take. And I had to put on Facebook, I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I had, you know, after I got done conversating with one of the young people, I understood that maybe because I didn't even know, because I was told, well, you might be a little bit too old to see it, but it wasn't quite like that. But it was more along the line. He said, no, I'm not saying you too old, but what I'm saying is that y'all pass the torch. You know, and I'm sitting up here like at 47 talking about I'm still trying to light the damn torch. I didn't pass, but hey, you know, maybe I missed it, and maybe you might, if you saw it, maybe you might be able to explain to a brother, what did I miss? I mean, I read the lyrics to the song, I saw the video, I saw the little boy dancing in front of the police officer.
So I can tell you that you made the same mistake I made in that you looked at the performance and then you looked at the video and you looked at the lyrics, and the fact is the three of those things have no connection whatsoever. Like for me, the first thing I said is what you said, Hatem. The first thing I said is, somebody help me. Her video images don't connect at all to the lyrics of the video. Somebody needs to help me. I feel like I'm schizophrenic. That's the first thing I said. And then when they began discussing the Super Bowl performance, that's when I surrendered to, I am done singularly criticizing these young people, because what I realize now is at 51, I'm just old. And I see things from a different lens than what's being presented by young people. But I will go to my grave believing that a lot of this discussion about what Beyonce intended is just people talking. It has nothing to do with what Beyonce intended.
Thank you.
That's what I think, and that's what I believe. And because what I'm saying is black consciousness doesn't just appear from out of nowhere. Black consciousness is something that is almost like blood. It can be seen throughout the life of a person thematically from the time that they're awakened to it. And I'm not putting that Beyonce performance on anything related to cultural awareness, a black awakening, what would be helpful as it relates to these disconnected young people. I'm not prepared to do that. And I know part of that just has to do with the fact that I am a part of the generation whose intentions were that of the Black Panther Party. And the fact that much of what they created and implemented would have much application today is a symbol of how, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as a symbol of how they failed, or you can look at it as a symbol of the power of Hoover's hatred and contempt and his seriousness about getting rid of something that black people were benefiting from. Amen.
Amen. Amen. For those that want to catch the conversation, she dropping it tonight, 614-556-4535. So I, you know, like I said, I looked at the performance, but you know, it did at least get people, some of the young people, looking at the significance of the Black Panther Party, and one of the things that this young dude is saying, or I ain't gonna say young dude, but whoever wrote it, Beyonce didn't bring back the Black Panthers when she. Oh, I hate when they do that. When she and Afro Frizz dance team donned black leather jackets and berets during the Super Bowl 50's halftime show. That's because the Black Panther never actually left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because that spirit has always been there, using words as weapons. We still got young people and older folks still doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, he pointed. It's a pretty good article. All these articles can be found at Gye-Nyame.com. It's on the timeline. So I'm gonna start doing when I'm going through the articles. I'll start posting them up on the timeline, so those people that are listening can go directly to Gye-Nyame Journey and find all the articles that we'll be talking about next one, because I want to get into the proverbs and quotes, because you hot tonight, girl. So what if only? Now this is a comic book. I just want to share it. To check out this question: what if only black people had superpowers? Real issues of race ground. Now the reason I bring this up because I'm into the comic books. So one of the things that I look up on a daily basis is comics. Whether I'm, you know what I'm saying. So there's a comic book that there's a group that of brothers who formed their own comic book company, and they are on Kickstarter asking for money to start a comic book that explores the idea of what if the only superheroes were black. The only people that had superpowers were black. So instead of having something like the mutants, you know what I'm saying, that could actually, like, because, you know, really a lot of those mutants, very few of them have to actually use their superpowers to have access to a normal life. You know what I'm saying? Wolverine could put away his claws and he just be a white boy with a funny sideburn. You know what I'm saying? And have access to white privilege. But the question that they're asking with this comic book is, what would happen if, you know, they're going to explore the idea of race through comic books, and they asking the question in the comic books, rather than all these different individuals, all these white individuals having superpowers, what if the only people on the planet that have superpowers were black? What would happen? You know what I'm saying? And the name of the comic book is Black.
So let me just share that one of the things that I've done for years during those times in high schools when kids are taking all these standardized tests, when a lot of their thinking becomes very negative, when they feel like they're being treated like animals and cattle instead of, you know, when they're very, very irritated. Right. One of the questions I've asked over the last 10 years is exactly what you asked. I asked them, because when I'm trying to get them focused, you know, when they have their answer sheet with their name and everything filled out, before I pass out the booklets, I oftentimes will look at the kids and say, if you had all the power in the world in this moment, what superpower would you want? And a lot of them over the years have always said they wish they could fly so that they could be above all of what's going on and help their friends and their families and their schools, etc., really see what the big picture is, because they always talk about how they think people are limited by their direct, you know, kind of what they're looking at right there, and that people need to think about more than that. And, you know, I'm always reminded of the power of thinking before it gets warped by life. Young people have very fresh and fearless thinking that can really move folks to other levels. I think that as you get older, you become very robotic in your thought. You become very complacent, very status quo. Young people are the ones that have those kinds of thoughts that we need to act on.
Man. Hey, I mean, because really, I mean, the truth of the matter is that in our youth, that's when we are the freest to do You know what I'm saying? As we become older, we become more conservative. I mean, it's the natural thing to do because we move from warriorship to nation building. And in nation building, once you build a nation, now you're in maintaining mode. And anytime you're in maintaining mode, you have to be very conservative. You know what I'm saying? And and fortunately for some of us, because the nation wasn't built before us, we're still kind of in nation building mode, so we really don't have nothing to maintain. So a lot of us are able to maintain that adventure spark within our souls because we don't have to maintain anything yet because we're still building. You know what I'm saying? You know, so in a way, it's a kind of blessing that there's nothing here. But then again, you know, you can look at it in another way. I'm gonna move through real quick. I got few more things. I got 10 award-winning African-American books for kids. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's truly interested in getting their kids to read, these are books by African-Americans for kids, and one of them cover hip-hop. Facebook instant articles will give all publishers faster loading, fewer opportunities to make money. You know, so now in a minute, what Facebook and Twitter is trying to do, they're trying to keep you trapped on Twitter and Facebook. So they're not going, what they're going to do is they're going to be dropping news into your timeline, but they're not going to be providing the link so that you could go out. So you got all these social networks now, they're trying to keep you totally inside of the social network. So now that limits your thinking. So we got to start watching because now the internet was wide open. So now we're going to have to start looking out because now what they're going to start trying to do, they're trying to corral us, right? So now you might be a thinker, but you might just be a Facebook thinker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Or you might just be a Twitter thinker. You might only think at 140
understand
kids.
the limits of Facebook thinking because there are limits.
Oh, there's limits. There's limits to Twitter thinking. You know what I'm saying? So then what they're going to try to do, they're trying to corral people. So, like, for example, I've been telling my young people, I say, you know, we are a multimedia company, right? We're building a multimedia company. I'm trying to get them to understand that, right? And I'm like, yo, so this means that once my young people really start writing and start putting up videos and stuff, they're going to put them on Facebook, but Facebook is not going to allow for there to be a link that will lead the people out of Facebook back to your page.
Oh, no. You got to stay up in my shit.
Yeah, you got to stay up in my shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going to reduce what they're trying to do. They're reducing the financial power of the internet for us because some of us are finally catching on. There's some people that are making a living doing this. There's some people that have companies doing this.
That's right.
Providing jobs for 5 to 6 people.
That's right.
Making good money, right?
Rich.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so they want to limit that. So now, because everybody's on the Facebook piece, but let me rest assured, because the next piece I'm about to give you, you're about to see the power of the internet, right? So now, moving on. IBM dangles a $5 million prize for major breakthroughs using Watson. For those that don't know what Watson is the artificial intelligence computer that IBM has been building, right?
Right.
And they're putting out a prize for $5 million for people who want to form teams to try to figure out how to best use this artificial intelligence. So they're going to open up the gates and allow people to basically be able to plug into this artificial intelligence and figure out new ways to use it. So now, what if we was to do a project with our kids? Like you said, we got kids that could crack codes and stuff. What would they do if we was to expose them to an artificial intelligence like Watson? Because right now, one of the things they got Watson doing is they got Watson in medical school. So now Watson is going, within the next 2 years, Watson will be able to diagnose sicknesses a lot better than a lot of the doctors that we're going to. So you're going to be able to get on the computer eventually and just describe your symptoms, and Watson is going to be able to give you, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be able to give you a diagnosis. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And probably be like 85% right. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to miss a lot of stuff like a human being would, right? You know what I'm saying? So, You know what I'm saying? My piece is, they're trying to seal us in, but now they're doing something. So now we're going to be moving to networks that are going to be driven by artificial intelligence. So now we're going to have artificial intelligence sprinkled into what we're doing, which is going to multiply, which could multiply the power of what we're doing. I can't wait to see what hip-hop does with something like artificial intelligence. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? But last but not least, I've been waiting for this one, yo. You ready for this? So I posted up on Gye-Nyame Journey, because we're about to get into but this is the last one. I posted up on Gye-Nyame Journey, hey, were your ancestors fooling around with Neanderthals? Europeans, Asians, and other non-Africans. Now, the PC is what they have found is they found that certain groups have within their gene pool, within their DNA, Neanderthal DNA. Now, guess what group of people don't have Neanderthal DNA in them?
Who?
Africans.
Hello.
Now, I got a question. A lot of these other cultures that mixed in with Neanderthals have been pretty violent to each other and to other human beings. Could the Neanderthal DNA be causing a lot of? I mean, could that DNA be the link that we've been looking for to why some of these people are so goddamn violent? So how is it that you can go go ahead? I'm sorry.
So one of the things we've been talking about since we met is, okay, science, you want me to understand and furthermore believe that DNA dictates yada, 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 yada.
Right.
So logically and scientifically thinking, yeah, there's some DNA to that. Ain't no doubt. And the other thing that I've learned from the young people I've worked with, coming from a very, very different experience, is when you couple DNA with life experiences, and when we're talking about the people we're talking about childhoods, formative years, full of all kind of trauma and mixed messages and deviant messages and dark messages. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all makes sense. When people really consider that, when people stop just talking junk, when people quit using Facebook as their source of news, when people really use the power of the muscle called their brain, it should all make sense.
So that's the news. Now, so Asian, European, and non-African.
Don't matter.
You got that Neanderthal dog. You know what I'm saying? Now, but then this was in the news, because I heard this one a while ago. But in the news today, they got there's another group of Neanderthals that we found that have African DNA in them. Right, because when we said the last report, we illuminated to the world that, Africans weren't a part of it. Okay, so now we got to correct ourselves, and we got to say that even Africans were Neanderthals too. Go on with that. But you got to look at it. See, because in African DNA now, there are no Neanderthals. There's no contact with Neanderthals. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, well then, there it is. Now, in Europe, there's contact, but they found a group of Neanderthals that had African DNA in them. So what this means is that in some form or fashion, mm-hmm. we closed off the pipeline. Mm-hmm. We sent it out, but we ain't allowed it back in. There it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you stay over there. And that's why the Scott brothers, Ridley Scott and them, came to us to figure out how to write horror movies, because we kept the monster out for a while. Kept them out. Until we were compromised. Oh, yeah. I mean, we nice. It is what it is. All right, so now, let's get to these proverbs and quotes. All right, so now we done covered the news. I didn't even mean to do it that long, but Big Sis got, she know what she's doing.
Sorry, my bad.
No, actually that's your good because I've discovered, you might be retiring from schoolwork real soon. You know what I'm saying? Because when you find something that people's passionate about, and then on top of that, somehow, as busy as you are, you read in depth into a lot of these discussions. I don't know whether you discussed it with the high school students, so you have to read it, but somehow, you know what I'm saying? You getting down, man. And like I said, now if you have some young people that want to do a talk show and they got a good subject and they need to be aired, if you could record it on your cell phone or whatever, if you're allowed to do that, I'll air that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to do, because I'm seeing what the young Turks are doing. I don't know if you are familiar with them, but they have a YouTube channel where they're doing quality news programming. There's a whole bunch of young folks that's out here using YouTube, using podcasts in a way that is, some of the stuff that I'm finding on YouTube now is, I don't even watch TV no more, Janice. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? My fault. I ain't going to swear to God because I do watch sometimes. Well, actually, no. I'm doing Netflix, Amazon, and then I got certain shows. I got a show that I watch. I like the comic book show, The Flash show. I'm watching that. But other than The Flash, for the last 2 weeks, I haven't really watched regular TV. Because I have found some, like, for example, it's a dude that you might like. His name is, he does this thing called Thug Notes for all those out there. And basically what the brother does is he interprets books from a thug's perspective. Mm-hmm. So he's reading books like Hamlet. He's reading books like 1984. He's reading Ernest Hemingway and Arthur C. Clarke. He's reading all these books, and it's called Thug Notes, and he's breaking it down in a way. It's very hood. It holds your attention, and then he goes into his analysis. And this boy, man, listen. When I talk about this boy is studied, but he maintains the language that young people like. Because I just experiment with some young people that I know, not at my school, but with young people that I know that I'm doing work with. I experiment with one, and they wanted to keep on watching it. So he did a breakdown of Beloved. They was like, well, let me see what he said about Color Purple. He broke down Color Purple to a level that was just, they left them with their mouths open. You know what I'm saying? But they listen. So it's young people on here doing stuff that's changing the world and changing how people think. So now, let's get down to it. So we got 3 quick proverbs. We on day 83. And here goes Proverb 1. If you wish success in life, make perseverance your bosom friend. That's Joseph Addison. Then we have number 2. Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own mind. That's Franklin D. Roosevelt. And last but not least, misfortunes do not have a set day for coming. That's a Ghanaian proverb. All right, so we're going you want pick a number between 1 and 3.
2.
All right, men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds.
Men are not prisoners of what?
Fate.
But prisoners of yeah, absolutely.
But prisoners of their own mind.
And so let me share that when I'm working with my 11th grade advanced placement students every day, when I am asking them to talk to me about their assessment of a particular essay, whatever they say to me is generally an assessment of what is obviously there to anyone who would have read it. Things like the boy in the second paragraph had on a blue bandana. And so when they respond with that, I say to them, Very good. I see what you see, but I'm asking you to think deeper. And they always kind of look at me, and I move on to the next person. I leave them there with that thought. I acknowledge what you picked up, but I want you to think deeper than that, and I'll move to the next kid. And the thing about our young people that people really underestimate is very much like us. They are a competitive breed. They want to do better than the last kid's response. And so if a teacher affirms the response of the last kid and says, I want you to think deeper, generally what the teacher gets next is an acknowledgement of the last kid's statement, but truly a statement that takes them deeper. And all the teacher has to do is continue to affirm the thoughts of the young people, but to continue to demand deeper. And the kids wind up engaged in a discussion with each other that is beneficial to all of us, old and young alike. And so that's what needs to be taking place with all these things that are taking place. Seriously.
Man, I was just reading.
We don't have the answers for these youngsters. In fact, the answers they need to come up with are to the problems that we have created.
Right.
We need to pose the questions. We need to get at the thinking, and then we need to get out the way. We need to get out the way.
I mean, but really, we got individuals holding on to leadership far too long in our community. Yeah. We got elders that believe that it's young people's job to serve their whims and I mean, so like I said, I'm trying to be an elder to get out. When I'm an elder, I'm not quite there yet, but when I'm trying to set it up so that I could be out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because as elders, what we have to strive to be is advisors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Advisors. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things I wanted to say about this proverb is because one of the news articles that I missed, and it's crazy how this stuff lines up. So men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own mind. One of the things that I didn't cover today in the news is that there was an article from the Huffington Post, where they talk about your brain on meditation and how prayer and meditation rewires the brain. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, a lot of us, because because one of the things I'm seeing within our community especially is a lot of contradictions. We got atheists, we got people who are atheists that say they ain't atheists and go to church every day. I mean, it's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if they truly believed in a higher power, half the shit they do, they wouldn't do. Secondly, we have individuals who say they believe in free will, but operate their lives as if it's fated. You know what I'm saying? It's like we live these contradictions, right? And what people need to do is they really need to sit down and explore within themselves, because what happens when you really take the time to look inside of you, once you really start seeing, as you said, going deeper, and you start saying, whether it's in the personal conversation in your head or a conversation with a teacher that is pulling something from you, you start finding out there's so much more in you that there's no way that you could be limited by this world. This world is too small to really confine and hold what you truly are. You know what I'm saying? But because a lot of people believe in faith and a lot of people act on faith, like, for example, I honestly believe that a majority of black folks honestly believe that we're fated to lose this battle. So hence we stay stuck. Until we rewire the thoughts that's on our mind and stop letting the outside influences that are being shot at us define us, right? We define ourselves by our poverty. We define ourselves by our lacks. We define ourselves by our weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? Because we have been taught to do that. You know what I'm saying? And until we start rewiring our brains through through proper prayer and meditation, because there is a proper way to do it. There's proper things to meditate on, and there's some stuff that you just don't need to meditate on or pray on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't do they don't do nothing but keep you stuck. Some prayers become like weights that hold you to the earth, when there's other ones that will liberate you into this infinite universe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, I don't know where I was going with that, but hopefully I got it.
You are good.
All right, so now let's move to number one. We'll say the proverb for later. So that one's Franklin D. Roosevelt. If you wish success in life, make perseverance your bosom friend. Hold on, I have to do the explosion on that one. That one is. You know, I'm sorry you can't hear it, but I'm gonna have this integrated one day. But I have to do the explosion on that one, because that one it blows up old paradigms. If you wish success in life, make perseverance your bosom friend. You know what I'm saying? We have people that say they want to be successful, but they don't have any perseverance about them at all. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, in the story that I was discussing yesterday, the golden hen, the hen that laid the golden eggs, right? The couple that cut the chicken open, that cut the hen open, looking for the gold inside of it, they wanted it quick. They didn't have the perseverance. They didn't have that idea of perseverance to go and get one egg at a time. They wanted it all right now. And in a sense, the way this society has been formed, you know what I'm saying, the way we have been trained in the society, it has, in a sense, pulled all the perseverance out of us, because we don't have to persevere no more. We can go to the store and get it, or we can take a drug that will help us, or we can hire somebody to do it for us, rather than having to persevere and pull through. But for anybody, if anybody out there that wants the true success, you know what I'm saying, the success that can't be taken away from you, because as Brother Hatim has been saying for a long time, if it comes fast, it don't last. If it comes slow, it's good to go. Many of y'all want it fast, and because you're getting it fast, you lose it fast. But when it comes slow, you get the lessons and you build the character to maintain what it is you attain. You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Woo.
No, yeah, man, amen. That's right.
So, make it your bosom friend. You know what I'm saying? Wow. You know, that's, you know, but you got something you want on that one?
You good? No.
All right. Misfortunes. And the last one, this is from God. Misfortunes do not have a set day for coming. Misfortunes do not have a set day for coming. And every last one of us has experienced this. When something is least needed is when it often appears.
That's right.
Trouble is like that.
You can tell yourself all you want to that you prepared. You can tell yourself all you want to that you've taken all the necessary precautions. But the fact is, it's called what it's called because no matter how well prepared you are, you're not prepared for it. And there are those landmarks in life's journey that no matter what you've done in terms of giving yourself armor, there's some things that are necessary and a part of the experience called life. And you're going to experience them regardless.
And that's the key right there, because I mean, you dropped the jewel, and I hope people caught it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's necessary. Because if life was all predictable, if life was easy, you wouldn't have a reason to grow.
That's right.
A lot of us are avoiding our blessings because our blessings have to, and a lot of our blessings come with suffering. And I know that scares some of y'all. Like some of y'all talking about y'all want success, y'all want to be business people, y'all want to rule the world. But in order to do that, you have to be prepared, and you have to be, you know what I'm saying, you have to be immersed into the furnace of life. You know what I'm saying? You can't avoid it. And at the worst times is when something worse always comes, and it's to burn out the impurities in you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy how these proverbs line up, because we talk about perseverance, we talk about being a prisoner of our own minds, and last but not least, getting ready for those misfortunes, because when they come, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times we miss the most important lessons of our lives,
right,
because we're so focused on the miss and
right,
not on the fortune. You know what I'm saying? We miss the fortune. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of the greatest inventions, a lot of the most powerful, life-changing ideas came out of misfortune, where somebody was paying attention and was immersed in the pain and was immersed in the suffering and was able to pull a nugget up out of it.
Right.
And in that nugget was the knowledge that prevented possibly the next generation of their family from having to go through that struggle.
Right.
But many of us are missing the fortune. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it might be called misfortune, because you miss it. You know what I'm saying? You miss the fortune because you allow the hard times to go by and you don't pick up the lesson.
Like I said to my students the other day, I said the reason why you're able to see the sunshine is because of the rain. And so when it rains, I need you all to not focus on the fact that, yuck, it's a rainy day, blah, blah. I said you're able to notice that it's rain because you're looking for the sunshine. And so let me just say this, Hatem. I want you to, I just looked. I sent you a request. It's a new Facebook page called From the Desk of the Teacher. And I want you to just go ahead and accept that invite, and then all these posts in terms of what we talk about, put them on that page, because I really am about to start sending people. You need assistance with young people. You at your last wit, you tired, you ready to say something ugly, go to my page and find some inspiration to talk to these young people who are giving all they can. We are the ones who are lacking in terms of providing alternative perspectives. It's us. It's always been the elders who give young people the hope, the faith, the belief that it's worth waking up tomorrow. When you got young people who see no value in tomorrow, that's an old person's fault. Period. Period.
All right, cool. I see you, girl. All right, so, all right, I just put it on there. So now what I'm about to do, we're about to shut it down. So I want to thank everybody that did tune in. If you, obviously, y'all just catching my conversation. Y'all need to hit us up at 556-4535, 614. Maybe that's the problem. I haven't. Have I been saying 614? 614-556-4535, so that you could drop your wisdom on this conversation. So I'm gonna wish y'all a great night. You know what I'm saying? Dream of greatness, and I will be back in touch with you. So now what we're gonna do is I'm about to go and I'm going to upload immediately this podcast from my Uber conference up to Spreaker, so that those of you that missed Miss Rowley laying it down, right?
With Hatem.
With Hatem.
Quit being so humble. With the other teacher.
Hey, it's a time to shine. But I'm just like, so now, and I'm going to post it to your timeline on From the Desk of the Teacher. I got it.
That's right.
All right. I just like the page, and I will be posting up on it. All right?
Good.
So you have a good night.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, peace.
Peace.